Are you ready for some more music? This is my update to the musical panning project. Before I get into all of that, I'm going to ask you to please do all of the things. You know what they are. All right, so let's talk about this project. This one is one of my favorites. I love all the musical stuff. This is a project that was created by the lovely Mari of Patriot Makeup. And I haven't seen her recording much lately, but this is one that she is just doing and created on her own. So I know we're a little far into it if you're going to join, but she basically just said to let her know when we wanted to join it. So that's what I did. This is something that runs from January 2nd of this year until January 3rd of 2023. It is a finishing or rolling style project with monthly updates. Unless you get behind, then you can do bi-monthly or quarterly. And the hashtag on this is musical panning. So, quick recap, what Mari has done is she has gone through decade by decade from the 1940s to the 2020s, picked 3 songs. So she's given us the artist, the title of the song, and a prompt to go with it. And we were allowed, once we had completed that, if we wanted, to bring in a song for each decade. Now, everybody's kind of approached this differently. I did mine with a twist, of course. So what I did is I took items, and if they fit into more than one prompt, I grouped them together. So I have completed Mari's list and have almost completed adding a song for each decade. Not quite, but we're getting there. So let's talk about what we have got going on. The first thing that I have had in since the beginning, and will probably be here till the end, is my Essence But First Espresso waterproof eyeliner. Now, this hit the prompt for the 1940s Hank Williams song, I'm So Lonesome I Could Cry, because it's a cry-proof item, but also fit into the 1950s Johnny Cash song Walk the Line, which was supposed to be an eye or a lip pencil. All right, so basically my goal being to finish, and I forgot to write down the month. I keep track of it on my card. You can see, oh, I've got a stray hair there, but you can see the new blue mark is what we've used this time, and this is what we still have left. So there's a ways to go, but we're getting there. I also keep track of the weights. It started at 4 grams. It is now down to 3.3. So I am making some progress, and my little colors, it makes me feel good, like I'm actually getting somewhere with it. That will obviously be staying in. Then, for the 2000s, I had brought in the band the 925s, which I did hear are no longer together, but the guy who was the lead singer, apparently somebody forwarded him my video, and he commented on it and said that he is still working in music, which makes me very happy. I don't know what his projects are, but I admire his talent, so I'm really happy to hear that he is still doing stuff in the industry. Now, I brought in this song You're So Pretty from their 2008 album Time to Wake Up, and I picked it as an item that you would grab for a quick getaway. For that, I brought in my NARS lipstick in Damage with the goal to finish. And I'm going to tell you the truth, I've only used this 3 more times since last month, but it's pretty small. I mean, it's getting there. I just need to get done with it. I just need to finish it off. I'll give you a swatch. In fact, I'll give you a swatch of the eyeliner too, because I don't know that I've ever done that. But that's the lipstick. It's just a really nice, for me, fairly neutral, kind of reddish pinkish color. And this is your standard brown eyeliner. My puppy's washing her paws, so if you hear that. But that's the eyeliner. So, NARS Damage is also staying in. I wasn't able to make a new line on my little card because I haven't used it enough to have a marked difference. Then I brought in the song for the 2020s. I brought in the band Maneskin with the song For Your Love from 2021. And this was any product that you love. So for that, I brought in the Galactic Rose Oil Petal Gloss. Now, as you can see, it looks like I'm down a quarter, but when you take out the doe foot and put a little on, why not? We're here. This has very little tack, so I don't really think of it as much of a lip gloss. I think of it more as an oil because it is more moisturizing or nourishing. But when that starts to settle, you can see that I am halfway done. And it's got all the floaties in the bottom still. And I really do enjoy this. I like lip oils. So That one went from 14.5 grams at the start. Last month we were down to 13.4. Now we're at 13.2. Haven't used it a ton, but we're still working on it. All right, then my last update, which I know a lot of people may not have watched because of the issues that I discussed in that one, and I didn't think about it at the time, and thank goodness Misty said something because I spaced. But I brought in a song by Badginger, and I brought in the song Baby Blue, which was from 1971, so for the 1970s, and it's something blue that you are still fond of. I brought in my It's a 10 spray. I know it's upside down. So here's the deal. We were at 36.8 grams, we're at 19.4. I am almost done. I think there's only about one use left. Originally right side up, I had marked it. I didn't have a ton left, but when I have it right side up now, I can't get anything out, and it's not really markable because it's so low. I may have 2 uses, I may only have 1. I don't really know. So this is going to stay in, but this is definitely going to be an empty for next month. I do like it. I've always liked it. In fact, I think I have a bigger bottle of it, but that's the one we're working on currently. All right, so in my last update, I brought in, for the 1950s, the Wray song Rumble. And what I brought in for that was something banned. So I brought in the Ofra palette. This is the Glitch 2000 palette. And I brought it in as a No Pan Left Behind. So I put my Post-it on and did my little markings. I have hit that goal. Each shade was used once. And there are the shades. They're quite lovely. I'm actually going to give you... These have the Ofra pigment. I mean, they're pretty strong. And then let's give you this green here too, okay? I mean, that's some pretty punchy pigment on those. I do enjoy the palette. It does pack a punch, like I said, but I had fun adding it to all of my looks and getting use out of every shade. I don't think I'd used every single shade before this. I'd used a few of them. So at least now I haven't touched every one of them. So that's actually my rollout this month, which means I have a roll in. I only have 2 decades left that I need to pick from. I have the 40s and I have the 90s. So for this one, I did go with the 90s. But, oh man, I always tell you guys this is torturous. I kid you not. Okay, I have my notebook. And I have pages and pages of bands. And that's just the names of the bands. Because I was looking at this and I realized that this era for me, almost all of the 90s actually, I was working in a nightclub. So I was going to work 4 to 5 nights a week and listening to like top 40 dance mixes every night, all night long. So when I wasn't working, I generally listened to stuff that was just captured my interest, but I kind of stayed away from the stuff that I was hearing at work so I didn't burn myself out completely. You can really only hear the same song so many times before you lose your mind. So I was going through and I was listening to metal, I was listening to some of the alt rock, just all over the board. And there's so much stuff that I love. But as I was looking at some of it, I realized that some of it's kind of almost angry, which is weird because I'm not an angry person. And some of it's just like heartbreaking. I was thinking, oh, Mazzy Star, Fade Into You, or Screaming Trees, Nearly Lost You, or maybe something by Dinosaur Jr. Not good. And then you got the whole grunge movement. So you got the late 80s, but from this perspective, 90 to say like 94. And you're looking at Stone Temple Pilots and Nirvana and just all of that. And then later on, you get like the Foo Fighters and the Offspring. I mean, there's all kinds of weird stuff. And I'm like, I just don't know where to go with this. So I thought, I've always been a metal fan. I haven't brought in a lot of metal, but I thought, well, let's just see what's on that list. That was interesting also. So I didn't really think, like, I love Tool. I love Rage Against the Machine. And these are bands I do like and I like their songs, but I just really wasn't finding what worked for me. What I ended up settling on is an interesting choice. I went with Ministry, and I went with the song Jesus Built My Hot Rod. Yeah, I know. So let's talk about this song just for a minute. I won't keep you too terribly long here with this. This song, they had had the music for it, and they were on tour, and the Butthole Surfers were on tour with them, and so they actually asked, the singer's name is Gibby Haynes. I want to make sure I got it right because I always want to say Hayes. It's Haynes. And so they asked him if he would come do the vocals for it. So he shows up to do this recording, and unfortunately he's slightly inebriated. So what comes out is complete and total gibberish. Now this song in general, the band, is this weird roots in rockabilly, considered psychobilly, but also industrial meets metal, so it's considered alt metal. I mean, we're all over the board with how we're trying to describe this song. But I think the best part about it is with Gibby doing this, that I think he was actually falling asleep at one point while doing this. The lyrics make no sense. The band had gotten their advance money, but as is sometimes the way in the music business, the money went towards extracurricular activities, and they had to get something back to the record company. So this was the song they had. They had to get it recorded. This just goes the way it goes. The label's after them. So they send the song and say, here's the deal. Either you give us more money or you release this. So this song actually did get released because they were like, well, at this point, we're not giving you anything. We might as well try and recoup something, even though they hated it. Hated it. They put it out there, and the song did amazing. To everybody's surprise, the band, the label, everybody was shocked how well this song did. It actually became one of Warner Brothers' best-selling singles to this day. I mean, we're talking like up there with Depeche Mode's Personal Jesus. It was just an unexpected huge hit. It makes the top 10 list for alt metal from the 90s era. Because of what it is, they overdubbed it, they cleaned it up, did whatever, because the lyrics, or the vocals, I guess you would have to call it, because there's not really lyrics, were such a mess, and they added a different intro and they did some different stuff to it. But at one point, one of the ways they were promoting it was with a free quart of oil. It's unique. I've never heard of any other band doing that for any of their songs. So, couple of, well, odd, quirky thing. They didn't actually, this was on the Psalm 69 album, but it came out before the album was actually recorded. Became a big hit. They did not do it live with that tour because they didn't have Gibby Haynes with them to do the singing part of it. And the main guy in ministry, Jorgensen, I believe is how it's pronounced, didn't want to do the song without him there to do the vocals. But this song has been updated, remixed, things added to it and whatever, and has been on several of their albums. Go figure. It is one of their biggest hits. Although they do have some others, and I do like all of their other stuff. I actually like that kind of industrial metal type of music. So this one is just such a quirky one that I decided the prompt should be something that makes no sense, but is still fun. So, messy fingers. What I am bringing in for this is a Mary Kay Time-Wise age-fighting lip primer. To me, this doesn't make a lot of sense. I don't know what's in it. I don't really know what it does. I mean, I can see that it does something. When I put it on, I actually can see it's kind of a blurring, but it's not really a lip balm. It's not a chapstick. I don't know what it's doing exactly. But this is what we got. This is how much we got left. Not a ton of it. And I want to put this into finish. I did mark it on the back of the card, as I am prone to do. So I did the component and then a start line for you there. So there's only that little chunk of product in there. We're going to see how long it takes me to finish this up. So that is my roll-in for this month's update for musical panning. I did tell you the hashtag was musical panning. I don't know. If I didn't, it will have been on the screen at some point. But anyway, that's what I've got for you this time. If anybody's got any suggestions for the 40s, give me a direction to go. Throw it in the comments for me. The 40s are not my strongest decade. I do like the big band stuff. I have heard a lot of it. But for me, that is my grandmother's stuff. There was a I don't even know what it was. I think it was a dance hall, basically, kind of in the neighborhood where I grew up, and she had lived there and kind of grew up in that area too as a teen and stuff. And it became the venue for all the musical acts coming through. So she said that she used to roller skate down there. It was only 2 miles from the house. So she would roller skate over and hear the different bands. So she'd seen like Glenn Miller and I want to say Artie Shaw, some of the other big bands that had come through. Unfortunately, my grandmother has passed, so I can't have her pick her favorite because that's what I would have otherwise done. So if anybody's got a really strong leaning that they would like to see me work with, put it in the comments. Until next time, see ya. Bye.